Steelers Nation, welcome back to the channel. You already know this. Our team is always working, always grinding, always finding ways to get sharper and stronger. This offseason has been all about improvement, fixing weaknesses, building depth, and preparing for a long, tough season. That's the Steelers way. Now, before we dive into today's exclusive update, because trust me, there's a lot to unpack, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button right now so this video gets out to more Steelers fans across the country. And if you're new here, hit subscribe so you never miss a single piece of Steelers news. All right, let's jump right into it. Thursday night, every single one of us held our breath. First-round pick Harmon, the guy drafted to bring youth, size, and energy to a defensive line that desperately needed it, went down. Carted off with a knee injury. And when you see a rookie first-rounder leave like that, it's hard not to fear the worst. But here's the good news. On Friday, tests revealed it's only an MCL sprain, not a tear, not season-ending. The Steelers are calling it about a 1-month recovery timeline. That means Harmon will likely miss the first 3 games of the season against the Jets, Seahawks, and Patriots, but he'll be back. And Steelers Nation, that's massive, because this defensive line, it needs him badly. We all remember the playoff disaster against the Baltimore Ravens. Embarrassing, humbling, a game that will stick in every fan's mind for a long time. More than 300 rushing yards allowed. That's not Steelers football. That's not the standard. The front office knew it. Mike Tomlin knew it. And that's exactly why Harmon was the pick, a young, powerful defensive lineman with the ability to plug gaps and eat up blocks. He's supposed to be part of the solution. Now, instead of debuting week 1, we'll have to wait until maybe week 4 or week 5 to see him. Not ideal, but it could have been so much worse. But here's where things get tricky. The Harmon injury doesn't exist in a vacuum. At the same time, Cam Hayward is still in a contract dispute. He hasn't been participating in training camp practices. His availability for week 1? Still a question mark. Think about that. No Cam Hayward, no Harmon. That's your best defensive lineman and your most exciting rookie, both missing when you're facing Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in the opener. Suddenly, what should be a strength looks shaky. If Harmon's timeline holds and Cam gets back on the field, this defensive line still has a chance to be a difference maker. But if Hayward holds out longer, the Steelers are going to be tested early and tested hard. Now, that's not the only big storyline. The Steelers have wrapped up their preseason, and you know what that means. Roster cut down week. Every year, it's brutal, from 91 players down to 53. Dozens of guys losing their jobs. A handful making it onto the practice squad. But here's the thing. Pittsburgh may not just cut players this year. They may trade them. That's right. Instead of letting talented guys walk away for nothing, the front office could flip a few for draft picks. And if there's one thing the Steelers love, it's stacking picks. Let's start with the position no one ever talks about, punter. This preseason, both Cameron Johnston and Corliss Waitman showed out. Both look like NFL starters. But obviously, you can't keep 2, right? Right now, Johnston seems to have the edge. But here's the opportunity. Waitman is better than a lot of teams starting punters. Instead of cutting him and watching someone else grab him off waivers, the Steelers could trade him for a late-round pick. 6th, 7th, whatever it is, it's value. And let's not forget, those late-round picks have built this franchise before. This one's more intriguing. Skylar Thompson. The former Dolphins quarterback looked sharp all preseason. He started NFL games before, including a playoff game against the Bills. That's legit experience. And right now, he's basically QB4 in Pittsburgh. Some teams out there don't even have a solid QB2. Thompson could fetch a day 3 pick. And if Omar Tan's making calls, you know he is, this is one of the names that might be floating around. Now here's the wild one. Beanie Bishop Jr. Last year, Beanie was forced into action as an undrafted rookie and delivered. 4 interceptions, played solid football as a slot corner, looked like a steal. But fast forward to 2025, and the Steelers signed Brandon Echols and traded for Jalen Ramsey. Suddenly, Bishop's role looks a lot smaller. He didn't even play a snap in the final preseason game. That tells you something. If Pittsburgh dangles him on the trade market, they could get serious value. Starting caliber slot corners don't grow on trees. Bishop could easily bring back a mid-round pick, maybe even better.
Tomlin himself admitted after the game that tackling was, quote, shaky at best. He pointed out that Carolina had nearly 100 rushing yards by halftime. That's not just rust, that's effort. And if the players weren't invested, maybe Tomlin should have recognized that before kickoff. Caboli even said flat out, "I don't blame the players, I blame Tomlin." Strong words, but let's be honest. This is the kind of accountability that makes Steelers Nation tick. We demand excellence from players and coaches alike. Now, you might be thinking, come on, it's preseason, who cares? And normally, I'd agree. Wins and losses in August don't matter. But effort does. Preparation does. Chemistry does. And that's what was missing in Carolina. Because here's the kicker. Week 1 is right around the corner. The Steelers are heading to New Jersey to face the New York Jets, a team that has been taking preseason deadly serious. Their starters have been getting full reps, and they look sharp. If Pittsburgh comes out flat in Week 1, everyone will look back at this Carolina game and say, this is where it all went wrong. It's one thing to say preseason doesn't matter. It's another to waste an opportunity to get better while risking injuries in the process. Tomlin is walking a tightrope here. On one hand, he wants to keep the old-school mentality of letting guys prepare through live action. On the other, if players aren't giving max effort, he's basically asking for injuries without the benefits. If the Steelers lose to the Jets in Week 1 because they look unprepared, rusty, or sloppy, the heat will fall squarely on Tomlin. The fans will remember Caboli's words. They'll remember the lack of tackling, the disinterested body language, and the Harmon injury. And they'll ask, why risk it? Why put the starters out there at all? This isn't just about one preseason game. It's about whether Pittsburgh handled the last month the right way. And that question won't be answered until the real games start. At the end of the day, Steelers Nation wants one thing: wins. We're not interested in excuses about preseason. We're not interested in business decisions. We want our team prepared, sharp, and hungry when the season kicks off. So, was this all a massive mistake? Did Tomlin mishandle preseason Week 3 by letting his starters play when they clearly weren't invested? Or was this just a bump in the road that won't matter once the real bullets start flying? So where does this leave the Steelers? On one hand, you've got the Harmon injury. Scary, but not devastating. He'll be back, and when he is, he'll still have plenty of time to make an impact. On the other hand, you've got the roster cuts and possible trades, moves that could reshape the depth chart, bring in draft capital, and maybe even set up a trade down the line for another position of need. This is what championship building looks like. It's not just about star power. It's about roster balance, depth, and always thinking 2 steps ahead. So, Steelers Nation, let's break it down. Are you relieved about the Derek Harmon update? Do you think missing 3 games is no big deal? Or are you worried that without him, and potentially without Cam Hayward, the defensive line could get pushed around early in the season? And what about the trade candidates? Would you move Corliss Waitman, Skylar Thompson, or even Beanie Bishop Jr.? Or would you hold on to that depth, knowing how brutal the NFL season can be? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments right now. You guys are the heartbeat of this community. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next Steelers update. We've got an exciting season ahead, and you won't want to miss a single twist or turn. Steelers Nation, the road to 2025 starts right here. Let's get it.